excited to have Daniel Galpin here to tell us about Android news from the Developer Keynote. Hey, Daniel.
Hi. Hi, Dan. So responsibility to our users was the first core part of the Android Developer Keynote. Now, how does this relate to developers?
Well, users trusting the platform is inherently important to developers. Downloading an app is something we all want users to feel comfortable doing. And that's why we've given users more control over their identity, around how apps run in the background, and about how apps share storage with each other. Now, these platform changes ultimately will require some apps to make changes when they target Q, but it's important for everyone that we get this right.
Tell me more about how the Inri Studio team focused on quality improvements for their latest release.
Well, we're always listening to developers. And while new IDE features are great, they don't mean anything if your coding is interrupted with the crashes and performance problems. So the team has fixed over 400 high priority bugs and made existing features work better. For example, we've rewritten Instant Run from the ground up with a more solid foundation, renaming it Apply Changes. And developers can try all of this today in the 3.5 beta.
Well, what's the latest with Google Play?
Well, it's all about app bundles, and they make sure that devices get just the parts of the APK they need, which has turned into an average of 20% smaller downloads for users. We've also recently launched the 1.0 release of dynamic feature modules, which allows apps to have even smaller initial downloads by choosing which parts to download at launch. And speaking of distribution, we launched Inline App Updates today, which provides a standard way to prompt users to update their app when a new version is available on Play.
So what's about the updates to Android Jetpack?
Well, Android Jetpack is another way we've been investing in developer productivity, and Camera X is a huge step forward in making it easier for Android apps to access the camera and get consistent behavior across devices. We've also continued to improve Jetpack's architecture components, having recently released Work Manager and the navigation controller into stable, adding enhanced RX Java support for Room, adding Kotlin coroutine support to Room, Lifecycle, and Live Data, and adding save state support to View Model. And we're also continuing to expand the architecture components and Jetpack in general to tackle new pain points, including the new benchmarking library. Also, the early source for a new Kotlin-first reactive UI toolkit we're developing, the open, Jetpack Compose, is now available. So check it out and give us feedback.
Android development is becoming Kotlin first. Now, why is Kotlin first important?
Well, the world has spoken. Kotlin is wildly popular. Over 50% of pro Android developers are using it, and it means much less code to type, test, and maintain. Now, of course, we're continuing to invest in C++ and Java programming language, and all three choices remain great options for Android development. That being said, I'm excited to see the reaction to our new free Udacity course, Developing Android Apps in Kotlin.
Thanks for stopping by, Daniel. That was a lot of really great information, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Emily, and I appreciate talking to you.